It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise.
Good morning. It's another fabulous Friday here at Bahamas at Sunrise, and I am your host, Davrielle Gardner.
And I'm Nathaniel Butler, filling in for Mark Daniels.
Thank you for joining me today, Nathaniel. You know, usually on these days when Mark is here, I'm all by myself, and I have to find fun things to say to the people, but I'm so glad I have somebody to kind of chat with.
Don't worry, I'm here to save the day.
So I heard today is your first day in this chair. I know you've been on as a guest, but this is your first time as a host.
Yeah, it's different. It's different this time around. When you're the guest, you just share. Now, you're a little structured, but we see how the days goes.
Absolutely. Well, the good thing is we have a great show in store for you today. We want to shout out all of those who attended the Abaco Business Outlook. I've heard that was an absolute fabulous success. It was so good that our team, or some persons in our team, are still making their way back. But we've got a great show in store for you today. We're going to find out about the changes in the Bahamas High School Diploma Program in our Focus on Education segment with the Ministry of Education and Technical Vocational Training. And Rashad Amahad is here to tell us about the great community work he is doing with at Tom the Bird Grant Park in Yellow Elder.
You know, I'm looking forward to pediatrician Dr. Carlos Thomas in our discussion about the medical needs for our kids. And of course, you know, we have to take another look at that sexual violence intervention segment.
Absolutely.
With the Zonta and the Nassau chapter of Links. But before we get into all of that, let's take our first look at the weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Nat. And fam, let me tell you, Nat's father and I played baseball and softball together. I've known Nat's father for a long time. So, hey, Nat, you've got a great one, and you be a part of the family here at Bahamas at Sunrise. In your first look at the weather, have troughing extending out of tropical depression number 9 to potential tropical depression number 19. And so we're going to have some sporadic showers and thunderstorms throughout the islands throughout the weekend. So for the most part today, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds, hot and humid. And you can expect a few scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms. Some of those showers may be heavy at times or thunderstorms severe at times, particularly the extreme northwest Bahamas. High temperature reaching 92, heat index 107. Tonight we're looking at partly cloudy skies and warm, again with a few nighttime showers and isolated thunderstorms. Your low going down to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados, 91 and 80. In Jamaica, 93 and 82. In Trinidad, 89 and 77. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 91 and 78. Across North America, Atlanta, 82 and 60. In Boston, 71 and 54. In Miami, 86 and 74. Dallas, Texas, 96 and 75. And Toronto, Canada, 70 and 58. As you go to the weekend, troughing will continue to be the main feature across the islands, triggering out pockets of cloudy skies and some thunderstorm activity, some showers, some of them heavy at times, like I indicated, thunderstorms severe at times across the northwest and parts of the central Bahamas. The temperature daytime will continue to be in the upper 80s to lower 90s daytime, at nighttime in the upper 70s. That puts up your first look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Gabrielle.
Thanks, Godfrey. Upon completing high school, students in the Bahamas from public or private schools have the opportunity to attain the Bahamas High School Diploma. Joining us from the Bahamas High School Diploma Unit of the Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training are Betty Taylor and Tiffany Johnson. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
You're looking bright and filled with sunshine this morning, and that's just what we need early this morning. So I'll start with you, Ms. Taylor. What is the work of the BHSD unit?
Good morning again, and it's our pleasure to be here. The BHSD unit, Bahamas High School Diploma Unit, firstly consists of an acting Assistant Director of Education, Mr. Theophilus Claridge, myself, the acting Senior Education Officer, and an acting Education Officer, Tiffany Johnson, and we also have a Technical Officer, Mrs. Shakira Dean. In this unit, we first of all are responsible for implementing the new changes that were brought about by the Bahamas High School Review Commission and sanctioned by the Cabinet. We make sure that we support our schools by making sure that they follow these requirements and they know what data they have to collect from all of their students. We also we will be training our principals, our administrators, and the data managers of the school to make sure that they can collect the data efficiently and submit them in a timely fashion. Now, once we get the data, we analyze it. We look to see if the students have met the requirements, and then we submit our findings to the schools. We then see if there's any discrepancies. We talk back and forth with the school to see if there's any supporting documents that they need to send to us. And then after we have cleared up everything, then we print the diplomas. We also are responsible for the statistics, and we work along with planning to do that. Going forward, we will be tracking our students starting from the junior school. We want to see if those students actually pass the core BJC subjects, math, English, science, religious studies, social studies, as well as see if our students are passing the requirements for the Bahamas High School Diploma in the junior school. We will also be tracking the intervention strategies at school for those persons who do not make the C grade to make sure that they are getting the support that they need, because it doesn't make sense if you continue to fail a class. We want to make sure that you are actually improving in those classes. And we will be tracking our students, whether they receive the Bahamas High School Diploma or not, after they leave school, to see if they're going to BTVI, the University of the Bahamas, or international universities or colleges, or simply just going into the workplace. We want to know what's happening from primary school, but our job is just start from junior high school and post activities. We are also responsible for evaluating graduations. We attend the graduations and we make our recommendations going forward, how to improve the service, how to improve the graduation booklet. We also will be looking at any cases that the Review Commission says, okay, the Review to Justification and Appeals Commission says, okay, this child deserves the diploma. We will be working along with them. This unit partners with a lot of persons, not only schools and their students, but we partner with the subject officers as well, the education officers at the Ministry of Education. We partner with the planning unit. We partner with the LMS and EMIS unit. We partner with the community at large for our community services, and even student services. So our hands are connected to a lot of persons to ensure that we have the proper, or I should say the well-balanced child that is going to be graduating with our diplomas, and also trying to achieve that 85% rate for the year 2030.
Wow, that is quite a bit that you have on your plate, but I have no doubt that you all are up to the task. Ms. Johnson,
Yes, we are.
Can you explain the different paths that students can take to graduation?
Sure. Well, all students are required to have 30 hours of community service. They have to have 20 hours of job readiness, and then they have to have 80% attendance at school and punctuality. And then we have 3 pathways. So the first general one, they have to have their BJCs, 4 of them. Math and English are mandatory, and then any 2 other subjects they can have in BJCs. Okay. Along with that, we have another general that's coming on board. It's not been sanctioned as yet, but you have to have math, you have to have English, but any other equivalent. So students who do City and Guilds, Pittman, a lot of the music theory, they take certifications for those, they'll be allowed to be substituted to get a diploma. Because we have some technical students out there, we want to make sure that they have the opportunity as well to be certified in the skill and also get the diploma. And then we have the third pathway, which is our honors. They also have to have 4 BJCs, math, English, science, and any other, and they must be B or above. They also have to have BGCSEs, and they want to make sure that they are B or above, 3 of them, or their SAT score of 1,000, and then ACT as well. Either one of those. They also have to have a leadership component. Are they in clubs, extracurricular activities? So all of these would make them a part of the Honor Society to get an honor diploma for the National High School Diploma.
So obviously, by nature of this unit existing, it speaks to the fact that there are some challenges for some students who are seeking a diploma. Can you talk about those obstacles that are in students' way? And I'll just put that out to the group.
Obstacles, okay. Some kids, we have, they are responsible for their household, and so attendance may be a challenge. And so that was one of the changes, because it was at 90% at first. And so it dropped to 80% to accommodate for those kids who may have some challenges at home, not always getting to school on time, and having to help support their household, and so they have to work, unfortunately. And so that was dropped. Also, what was dropped is that because we have technical students, not everyone is going to have the RK or the social studies or the science. So therefore, we made it mandatory to have the math and English, so that if they decide that they want to have technical drawing because they're good with their hands, or family and consumer science, they can have that BJC as well. And also, when we do get the equivalency, those ones who are in music, those ones who do agriculture, because they can get a Pittman in agriculture, okay, they can get a RSM in music, and so those would be equivalencies that we're looking for to assist those children with challenges. And then the intervention, like I mentioned before, we have some kids in transitioning from grade 9 to grade 10, is like they just have that little adjustment period that they have to get adjusted to, and so they may in their first semester may have failed a class or so, and we want to make sure that the teachers fill in the missing gaps by having those intervention problems, so we can help our students achieve a diploma or some equivalency.
Oh, that. Ms. Johnson, how important is it for parents to be involved in the student's educational process to ensure that they graduate?
Well, listen, as a parent myself, I realize that it's so important. It makes a difference in how that child makes an effort. They have a little more confidence in what they're doing. And so even now, even though we don't allow, if the parent comes to school or PTA to be a part of the requirement for the diploma, we want to encourage parents to allow the students to grow in whatever field that they are in, whether that's academic or technical. We want to see the support helping them to get those community hours, get those job readiness, attend school as much as they can, because it makes a difference in how that child performs, whether or not they get that diploma. We have seen it.
And what's your encouragement to someone who's maybe, they're past the time of being in high school, but they never got that diploma and they want to go back and get it?
Well, we have some institutions that assist with getting what is considered the GED, like the Atlantic College, BTVI, and so they can still go back and get what they need. It may not be considered the high school diploma because you've passed that age of 18, but you can still get the equivalency of what those institutions offer, so that you can move forward and have something to present at your job. But also at some schools, Ms. Johnson would be able to elaborate on that as well, that there, even if you didn't have the high school diploma, schools are also giving you another certification that you can't leave with. Ms. Johnson?
Right, certificate of achievement, showing the skills that you may have attained, whether that's business or any technical field, so that they can have something to show that this is what I can do in the job field. And so we have opportunities for those students, as well as if you don't meet the requirements, you get a certificate of attendance just to show that you completed something.
Yeah.
So it's just as important to just finish.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I commend you all. This seems like very exciting work. It seems like a
is.
lot
It is.
of
It
work.
is clever.
My head is still spinning from that description of what you do.
Yes.
But
And
I
that's
think
only the ones that we know of now. The unit is new, and it will be expanding, and so therefore whatever the minister or director says, that's what we will take on, and we're ready for the challenge.
well, thank you for all the work that you do, and thank you for joining us this
Thank
morning.
you so much. It was our pleasure.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Attention customers, next Tuesday, a major hurricane will cause complete confusion and chaos throughout the entire Bahamas. Water, phone, and internet services will be in short supply. Definite data loss is expected to all local and Family Island businesses.
Disasters don't plan ahead, but you can. Be ready with push-to-talk service that keeps you connected with your workforce with a simple push of a button. Contact the experts today at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Island.
Meet Leno, your bridge to the future. Wealth planning, investments, corporate services, trust services, pension administration, fund administration, outsourced accounting, and payroll. When you think of financial solutions, think of Leno. Local or international, company or individual, Leno can help. Our team of skilled professionals has the experience and expertise needed for you to strive. Your goals are our goals and our priority. Leno will guide you to the right financial solution with the knowledge, resources, and support you need. Give us a call at 242-396-3225 or email us at info@lenobahamas.com to get started. Visit our website, www.lenobahamas.com, for more information today. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Here are 3 young people who stopped attending high school and got disengaged in their educational journey due to the pandemic. Today, they are proudly taking their walk all over the place because they took advantage of BTVI's Smart Start initiative. All high school students in New Providence and the Family Islands can participate in free hands-on learning to improve employability, learn basic literacy and numeracy skills, and earn a BTVI certificate in automotive mechanics, beauty and construction trades, or fashion in only 14 weeks for full-time participants or 24 weeks for part-time. Don't count yourself out. Do what they did and enroll today. Email smartstart@btvi.edu.ds or call 502-6300 so you can take your walk anywhere in life.
Focal Holdings Limited is proud of its consistent growth and the financial success it continues to bring to many Bahamians who invest in the company. Focal is committed to ensuring optimal financial performance for its shareholders. Focal's leadership remains focused on superior customer service and operational excellence across all sectors. Focal.
Welcome back. He said that he felt the love when he was in need, and now he's paying it forward with a volunteer work at Tom the Bird Grant Park in Yellow Elder. He offers an after-school tennis program for kids and so much more. Here to tell us all about it, Rashad Amahad, the community builder and owner of Yaman Landscaping and Maintenance Service. Welcome. Good morning. And welcome to Bahamas to Sunrise.
Good morning.
Now, I'm very interested about this program. I want you to tell me a little bit more about this after-school program, and I think there's a feeding component of it as well.
That's correct. I spent a serious amount of time on the park ensuring that it's kept to a very decent level. Mm-hmm. And while doing that, I recognized children didn't have rackets, but they had the interest in the game of tennis. Oh. And on Tom the Grand Park, we have 2 tennis courts at present. Hopefully we'll increase that in short order.
So I know you have a few kids inside the program. Well, how many kids do you have inside the program?
About 15, and the number is growing every day.
Oh, wow. And I'm sure that you're creating kind of like a family environment and atmosphere with these kids as well?
Definitely, definitely. We have lots of fun every afternoon. We have different coaches that come in and assist me in trying to ensure that the game of tennis is proliferated here in our country.
So tell me about the community spirit on the park as well.
You know what's interesting is when I first came there to do a little landscaping, mm-hmm. The welcoming experience that I had reference to the members that were existing there already. We call it under the juju tree. The tennis club that is there presently every morning without fail is Harrow Road Tennis Club.
Okay.
And they extended the kindness to me by offering me a tennis racket and lessons, not knowing that I had some tennis experience already. And it was because of that. That was the seed, the impetus that caused me to really, just it germinate into a point where I want to now give back to community youth.
No, I totally understand. I totally get that with youth development. Now, we did mention a little bit that you have a landscaping company. So just walk me through like some of the maintenance work that you have to do to make sure that the tennis court and the park is upkept.
Definitely, we have to ensure that all debris that, from the weather, various different plants surrounding the park, it makes sure it's clean and tidy for those persons who would, utilize the courts from time to time. But in addition to that, we want to make sure that the landscaping surrounding it immediately and the overall landscape as a whole is tidy and presentable, so it's welcoming to all of our visitors, both local and international.
Now, before we got on air, you and I were talking about this barbecue grill.
Yes.
And I heard that you have a background in cooking in the culinary arts.
Yes.
Now, you said it's on the weekends, because I'm going to pass by. What am I supposed to expect when I pass by?
Listen, lick your fingers and bite your lip. If you come around the park on the weekends, we have a little soiree going every weekend. And I think Mr. Ken Kerr and myself, we're head to head in terms of battling and who is the best at the grill on the park.
Oh, so tell me about some of the other volunteers you mentioned.
Listen, what's so exciting about our park and the love for the Yellow Ella community is that we have persons who are interested in the flora and the fauna as well. You have persons like Mrs. Cash and Mr. Tony Brown, who are gardeners and green thumb enthusiasts. They come out and they ensure that, the flowers, the plants, the trees around the park are properly maintained, and also to ensure that there is a proliferation of growth of trees, which is so very important in this humid climate that we're in.
And the kids participate in?
Definitely. We try and get the kids involved in every aspect, because we want them to take ownership. And we want this model to be able to translate throughout the various other communities in our country.
No, I totally believe that. I support you in your initiative. I think it's needed. Wouldn't you agree? And in addition to that, what's your view on how we can, multiply this in other communities?
All we have to do is we have to get with the stakeholders and private-public partnerships in order to be able to do so. You got to have a love. And if the seed was planted in you, then you have, it's a natural process to germinate and then multiply. And so all persons who are interested, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is have the love. And once that love is extended, that love will grow.
For somebody who's sitting down watching this show and have like a similar passion and desire, wants to start their own program, what steps do you think they should take?
No, first thing is start. Just start. Just start. And once you start, persons will come, and then they will help you mature, and it will grow. And you have to have the perseverance in order to be able to do so, and have the passion and commitment in order to be able to ensure that our community grows as we will grow in community building.
And then I have to ask you this question about the young people. What is their response and their views of the program so far?
Let me tell you something. It fills my heart with joy to see, especially with the breakfast program that's ongoing right now, where they smile to see that they're sitting down, they're using all of their utensils, and we're having breakfast in the morning under a healthy and in a cohesive and a coherent atmosphere that's aids their overall commitment to education and just being good-rounded citizens in the community. So they're joyous and they're happy that they're able to do so in the community park.
No, I love that. And how frequent do you meet?
Listen, every morning I have breakfast except for Saturdays and Sundays, because of course then my concentration is towards the barbecue grill on the weekends. And so that's between the camaraderie of playing tennis and barbecue, and those are my two passions.
Oh, perfect. So you really got me. I'm tempted. I'm coming out on this weekend.
Just fight the temptation and listen. Just come on over and get it done, because it's going to be great.
I appreciate that. One more question I got for you. Tell me, are you looking for any volunteers, any sponsors?
Definitely. There is never a shortage of volunteers because I can't do it all, and it's important for other persons who may be under the sound of my voice to understand that it doesn't have to be at Yellow Elder Park. You could start a reading program at your park, whatever it is. We have a lot of retirees that have of particular interests and professionalisms that is necessary, and give it back to the youth. They always need a listening ear, and they need somebody to show them the way.
I think you need to say that appeal one more time for those retirees, because there's so many people retiring today, and I totally agree with you. We all have something that we can give back to the community.
You know, I spoke with Mr. Nolan Johnson, who's a tennis pro, that came and he showed me a few pointers as it relates to tennis. And when I see the commitment and the passion that he had, he gave me the bug, so I now in turn give that same instruction to others. You have different persons from different backgrounds who want to give, who want to share, and I urge them, listen, the Bahamas is where we live. It's a paradise, and in order to be able to sustain that, we have to be those persons who are going to now advocate for that change. Be the change that you seek.
Be the change that you seek. Thank you so much, Mr. Amahad. I look forward to seeing your program on the weekend. And thank you, listening audience, for joining us. We will be right back.
August and every month thereafter, the Bahamas National Statistical Institute will be conducting the Quarterly Labor Force Survey. This household-based survey is designed to produce quarterly labor force estimates and deliver important information, including the number of persons employed and unemployed, employed persons classified by occupation, and more. If you're 15 or older, we encourage you to participate. For more information, visit bahamas.gov.bs/statistics.
Satisfying to own your own piece of paradise? The most important investment you can make in your life is real estate, and Fidelity has the solution for you. You could become the owner of a home or a lot on any of our beautiful islands. Come and talk to a loan officer and inquire about how you can fund your goals with a loan today. Because we know it means a lot to own a lot. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or visit any of our branches, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau, or 352-6676 for Freeport.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best-kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. If you are just joining us, you're joining us at the mid-show. My name is Davriel Gardner.
And I'm Nathaniel Butler.
And we are having a happy Friday here on Bahamas at Sunrise. We got off to a great start. We talked a bit with some representatives from the high school diploma unit at the Ministry of Education. And you seem to have a very exciting conversation just now.
Oh, yeah, definitely, with Mr. Rashad Amahad and his tennis program and his feeding program in the Yellow Elder Park.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about this show is just learning about all of the incredible things people are doing in the corporate sector, in the government sector, and of course just on their own in the private sector, just trying to make a difference. We still have more great stuff to come in our second half of the show. We're going to take another look at our interview discussing sexual violence intervention with Zonta and the Nassau chapter of Links.
And of course, I told you at the beginning of the show, I'm looking forward to my conversation with pediatrician Dr. Carlos Thomas as we discuss the medical needs for kids. But before we get into all of that, like I said, let's take a second look at the weather. Over to you, Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by NUA, the hands-on agency.
Thank you, Nat, and good morning, Bahamas. In your second look at weather sunrise, a trip around the tropics. And in the tropics today, we do have post-tropical cyclone Nigel, and that's in the north-central Atlantic, away from us, far away from us, and is moving towards the northeast at 37 miles per hour. Winds are still sustained at 70 miles per hour. And then we have potential tropical depression number 16, and at 5 a.m. this morning was located in latitude 30.5 degrees north, longitude 75.0 degrees west, some 330 miles to the south of Cape Hatteras in North Carolina. Is moving to the north at 14 miles per hour. Winds are now sustained at 50 miles per hour with higher gusts. And then we are watching a broad area of low pressure located about 500 miles west-southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. This system over the next 7 days has an 80% chance of tropical cyclone formation, and over the weekend it could become a tropical depression. On the local scene, extending out of the potential tropical depression number 16, we have troughing across the northwest Bahamas. That's going to slip through the central Bahamas during the weekend, and so for the most part, we're looking at variable cloudiness with some showers and thunderstorms throughout most of the weekend. In your marine forecast, winds today northerly at 10 knots or less, seas 1 to 3 feet in the extreme northwest Bahamas, light and variable seas less than 3 feet or the remaining islands, but you still have a caution out there because we have swells at about 5 feet. On Saturday, winds easterly at 10 knots or less, seas 1 to 3 feet in northwest Bahamas, east-southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet, or the central and southeastern islands, still low swells at about 5 feet. On Sunday, those winds east to southeast at 10 knots or less, seas 1 to 3 feet in northwest Bahamas, 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet, or the central and southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a low tide at 7:08 this morning. Next high tide will be at 1:44 this afternoon. Low gain this evening at 8:20. Sunset 7:05 this evening. Rising one 6:58. UV index 9. Your water temperature 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And your moon phase first quarter. Standard look. That trough will continue to be across the islands over the weekend. So we're looking at variable clouds over the weekend with those scattered showers, actually thunderstorms. I indicated some of those showers be heavier times or thunderstorms severe times across the islands. Temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s and low 90s at daytime. At nighttime in the upper 70s. That brought you up your fellow look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Davriel.
Welcome back. We've been featuring a series on sexual violence interventions, and today we will talk with two organizations that make a difference with women in this country. We welcome Christel Sands-Feaste, president of the Nassau chapter of Links Incorporated, and Sonia Brown, president of the Zonta Club of Nassau. Good morning, ladies, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
So first of all, it's Feast is correct?
Yes.
Okay. We'll start with you. Tell us, what is Links all about?
So the Links Incorporated is a large organization of over 17,000 women, nonprofit organization that consists of 300 chapters in the United States, the Bahamas, and the United Kingdom. It's a service-based organization, but slightly different. We are an organization of women that focuses on transformational service-based programs. Our goal is to transform the lives of persons in the communities that we serve. The Nassau chapter of the Links Incorporated was the first internationally chartered chapter way back in 1989. Wow. So we've been around for a very long time. And some of the initiatives that the Nassau chapter of Links has been focused on is our Safe House, which I'll tell you a bit more about, that was established over 20 years ago. So for a service-based organization that focuses on transformational projects like Links, this issue of women providing services and support to our community is not a new issue. And the way that the Links operates is we implement our transformational projects through 5 facets. Services to the arts, services to the youth, health and human services, international trends and services, and national trends and services. so in a very structured way. And collectively, the Links Incorporated has over 1 million hours, documented service hours in all of the communities that we serve.
So it's safe to say that Links is definitely making a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'll let you speak, Ms. Brown, too. What is Zonta doing to make a difference?
Well, just to tell you a little bit about Zonta. We're also an international organization that's been around for over 100 years, locally here in the Bahamas. We were formed 41 years ago, the Zonta Club of Nassau, and we also have the Zonta Club of New Providence that would be 26 years old. And so we have been working to advance the status of women, but this pressing issue of violence against women is really important. We have to address it. Women experience violence, sexual violence especially, in their homes, in the office, at school, at church, and it knows no boundaries. It doesn't matter what your economic status is. And we need to understand that as a country, it affects our development. So if you have someone going into the workplace and they're not able to properly perform, that affects the economy. And I really want to throw out a challenge to men, because this is also a men's issue. You have mothers, you have sisters, you have wives, you have daughters, and they're experiencing violence. And you need to speak out to men that you know are performing acts of violence. So we really need the men to join us.
I feel like this was a perfect lead-in to the fact that you have a Say No to Violence Against Women campaign ongoing. What is the practical reality of that campaign look like?
Right, so that campaign exists through all of Zonta International, and it begins on November 25th, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, and it ends on December 10th, Human Rights Day, because we know that women's rights are human rights. And so as a part of that campaign, we focus on two things: education and awareness. Number one, we can't deal with a problem if we're not aware that we have it. And we also have to admit in this country that we have a serious problem with violence, especially sexual violence. And so education, the education component comes in where we work to have, we do radio shows and seminars virtually and in person to explain to people what a healthy relationship looks like. I think that is the starting point, and starting with having a healthy relationship, first of all, with yourself. Yes. Because if you respect yourself, you know what you deserve, you would have the motivation, the courage to move out of those difficult relationships. And I want to say, too, that we encourage persons to access help. There's the Bahamas Crisis Center, there's psychological services. People need to access help.
Right. Speaking to that, practical help, Ms. Feaste, you actually touched on it, that Links does have a safe house for women. Can you speak to that?
Sure. So the Safe House, just to give you a bit of background of how the Safe House was established. So after 10 years after the Nassau chapter was established, the chapter determined that they would establish a Safe House. And the Safe House construction began in 2000 and was completed in 2003. And we're proud to say that it was the first Safe House of its kind in the country back in 2003. And the purpose of the Safe House was twofold. First, it was to provide a safe space for women in crisis with or without children. And so if a woman is in crisis and feels that she needs a safe space to go to, with her children as well, the Nassau chapter of Links, the Safe House, affords that discreet place for a woman to go with her children, firstly to be safe, and number one, and secondly, to establish a place where she and her children are at home. 3 meals a day are provided. They are safe. There's an administrator there. There are common area spaces, and so on. In addition to that safe space, which is so important in a confidential setting for women who are in crisis, which Zonta is working towards, and they talk about their initiatives in that respect as well. The second element, and again, is the second element of the Safe House is also to provide a dormitory for girls. It's not related to violence, but it provides support to women and girls who are seeking tertiary education, and it provides dormitory facilities for girls who are in some form of tertiary education in New Providence. So again, twofold, something that has been around for over 20 years, but only made possible with the support of a private sector organization like Links, with the support of corporate Bahamas, private citizens, and so on in the Bahamas. When I was looking back at the brochure that was published in 2003, it is astounding and inspiring to see back then the number of institutions, corporate citizens, individuals who supported that initiative, contributed. The government of the Bahamas partnered with Links at that time to make that possible, and felt that it was necessary to establish a permanent place for women in this country to feel safe and somewhere that was a refuge for them, and most importantly, with or without their children. So if having a children and a family is no obstacle at all.
I am curious to find out, is this something that people take advantage of on a regular basis?
Yes. On an ongoing basis over the 20 years, we've had hundreds of women and their children who have availed themselves of the support that is provided by the Safe House, again, in a safe space for periods of time. Yes. So it's certainly something that portion of the Safe House is utilized on an ongoing basis.
During the break, Ms. Brown, we kind of spoke to a recent headline that came out in The Guardian saying that the UN report indicated that 25% of people think that it's acceptable to use physical violence, particularly on a female partner. Speak to the importance of educating the public on what is a reasonable way to behave.
Well, again, yes, education is really important. But remember, we are battling against these social stereotypes, history, and so it's really difficult. This is a really challenging and nuanced problem, and therefore we have to encourage people to just be aware of, when they see women who look like they're in crisis, see if they can assist. And again, we encourage our men to take a part, because sometimes they are aware of another man who is imparting violence in their family, and we need the men to speak up. But Zonta is also about partnerships, and so we continue to work with various other NGOs to assist in this cause, because this is a really big fight. And so we just want to continue working with others to inform the public and to increase awareness around this important issue.
And I guess I'll put it out to both of you. If there is a woman who's watching this, or who might know someone who is in crisis, how do they seek help?
I think that the most important point, and this is to underscore your position, is any form of violence and any form is unacceptable. And the Nassau chapter of Links, and I think collectively our organizations condemn any form of violence. Seek help, contact the Department of Social Services, seek other form of assistance. In some instances, people may feel that they can't reach out to a government agency. Seek a friend, someone who is comfortable, someone who you feel confident and safe, and you feel that you can securely speak to on an ongoing basis. I think certainly is what I would say.
Yes, and definitely the Bahamas Crisis Center is there to help. So they are a resource, and they should be contacted.
Okay, and so social services, the crisis center, they are the ones who are going to funnel people to Links and to
Zonta. They could come directly to the Zonta Club in Nassau.
And how can they reach you?
Well, I give with my number, 357-4724. That's 357-4724, or Zonta Club of Nassau at hotmail.com.
And how can they reach out to Links?
They can contact myself, Christel Sands-Feaste. I'm the president of Links, 376-7881. The Safe House is a nonprofit organization. It has a board, and the president of that board is my Link sister, Christine Robertson.
Okay, ladies, I mean, you're really putting it all out there. You're allowing people to contact you directly, and I think that just speaks to the passion that you have for a very important subject. So I just want to personally, on behalf of the entire Bahamas, say thank you.
Thank you as well.
And thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
The Euro device is very affordable. It allows you to increase your internet connectivity. You are able to do away with the buffering, say goodbye to the dead spots. It gives them a much more stable connection. Their customers are able to view their digital menus. The establishment is able to stream. It allows for everyone, the customers and the business operators, to have a much more robust and stable internet connectivity.
Hey, Mom, can you look after Kaylee?
Sorry, I'll be out for a while dealing with my home and car insurance.
What? You know there's a newer way, right?
A new way?
Where have you been? Look, go to newerinsurance.com, log in, get your quote, buy your insurance, done. You can even use it to manage a claim.
Oh? By the way, it's not newer. It's N-U-A. Where's she been?
Do it anyway with NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers.
Welcome back. So, as you know, we're always concerned about the health and well-being of our kids. And here today, no stranger to the show, we have with us Dr. Carlos Thomas, who is a pediatrician from Dr. Carlos O. Thomas Pediatric and Associates. Good morning. Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, Nathaniel. Good morning, Bahamas.
So, let's get started with immunization. When does the schedule start for children?
So, we've been doing vaccinations for decades now. Mm-hmm. They're very important to protect our children against childhood illnesses. Mm-hmm. So the series begins at 2 months. So after you're delivered, you see your doctor about age 1 week and then 1 month. And then the primary series, which are the first 3 sets of vaccines, begin at 2 months. Okay. So it's 2 months, 4 months, and then 6 months. Then there's a 6-month break from vaccines, and you resume at 1 year. There are vaccines at 15 and 18 months. Mm-hmm. That takes care of most of your early childhood vaccines. Mm-hmm. And then again, ages 4 through 6, and then 10 through 12.
Oh, so that means I got to take my little one in now.
Absolutely.
So even on that point, what is the list of required immunization?
So most of them are ones that you would have had as a child. Okay. We vaccinate against polio, hepatitis B, tetanus, pertussis, which is whooping cough. There's a vaccine against a germ called Haemophilus influenza type B that used to be the #1 cause of meningitis. And in the last 23 years or so, we have a vaccine that protects against a bacteria called pneumococcus that causes pneumonia and meningitis and very serious illnesses, particularly in children under age 5. And then the newest vaccine is one that became available in the year 2006. That vaccine protects against a virus called rotavirus that's responsible for gastrointestinal illnesses like vomiting, diarrhea, and so on.
And I gotta ask you this question. Yes. My wife will kill me if I don't ask you this question. Men don't typically go to the doctor, right? And I have this view, if the child isn't sick, we shouldn't worry too much about the annual checkup. Yeah. What's your view in regards to how important is it to maintain annual checkup for kids, even if they're not sick?
I'm kind of happy you asked the question, because there are many parents that take that same view. They only go when there's a problem.
Yeah.
But regular scheduled maintenance is very important for cars. It certainly is important for your child. Your doctor is able to chart how well your child is growing.
That's true.
That's important.
That's true.
How well he or she is developing. Are there any psychosocial issues? Are there things we need to address early? So it's very important that starting age 2, your child sees his doctor every year without fail, even when there are no vaccinations.
I think you settled that matter for me and my household. The Ministry of Health was on the show, I believe it was last week Friday, and they were talking about dengue fever. How does dengue fever affect children, and what symptoms as parents we should be looking out for?
Yes, so dengue fever can affect children and adults. As our viewers probably know, it's caused by a bite from a mosquito, the Aedes aegypti mosquito, that transmits the virus. And usually 3-4 days you start to have symptoms which overlap with some viral illnesses, by the way. But the symptoms include very elevated temperatures, headache, muscle ache, fatigue, pain behind the eyes, vomiting, and diarrhea. Can be very debilitating. And so although most people recover from dengue after a week or two, there are some serious complications, which include things like brain infections. It can affect your heart, you can have hemorrhage into your organs, and you can go into shock. And some people actually do die from dengue fever. So it's something we should not take lightly.
Wow. No, I didn't know that. I really didn't know that. So what treatments, are there any treatments for kids if they have dengue?
A discussion on treatment always begins with prevention. How can you prevent dengue? We can do things around our household, like making sure there are no small reservoirs, receptacles of water, stagnant water hanging around for mosquitoes to multiply. We can pay attention to that. It's very important. If you have to go outdoors at night, you want to wear long sleeves, repellents. The environmental department does a pretty good job at trying to do fogging in our areas. But each person has a responsibility to look around your environment and see, are there stagnant bodies of water around I can get rid of? That's very important.
No, I totally agree with that. I had my case of the dengue fever when it was the last outbreak, and trust me, I wish that on no one. But I want to just cross over into another topic.
Yes.
You know, kids are going back to school, and I had my share of my little one. Somebody comes to the class, the little one gets sick, the whole class is out, and now all of a sudden now they bring that home.
Yes.
We get sick. What could we do to reduce, I guess, the spreading of germs in the classroom?
Well, becoming sick and ill after a few weeks of being in school is almost inevitable. What can we do to mitigate? What can we do to minimize that? We should teach our children the importance of hand washing. You can't say it often enough. We have to model it at home, do exercises. They have to see you washing your hands all the time. We have to teach our children how to sneeze or cough in their elbows. Hand washing is crucial. We have to do things like making sure they're healthy, which includes vaccines, but also means they're resting adequately. If your body is well rested, it gives your body a chance to rejuvenate. It's great for your immune system. So younger children require more sleep. Your child's age of 4, maybe 10 to 12 hours per day. Not altogether at night, but per day.
Okay.
Older children need 8 hours.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
At least. So sleeping and being adequately rested is very, very important. Proper nutrition, you can't speak about that often enough, which means eating healthy, less carbs, more fruit, more vegetable. We encourage parents to give their children vitamins.
Yes.
Supplements.
Well, what type of vitamins do you recommend, if you don't mind me interjecting?
As long as it's a multivitamin, it has to contain vitamins A, B, C, D, and E. So there are a variety of liquid ones for younger children.
Okay.
There are gummy vitamins that the older kids can handle and would appreciate. And for you and I, we should take vitamins regularly. I do a regular vitamin intake myself.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not consistent, but I'm going to try to do better now. After having this conversation, I'll try to do better. But I do want to ask you this question, the importance of breakfast. Is it important?
It's very important. It's very important to a child who has adequate rest and breakfast is more prepared to learn.
That's true.
They can pay attention, they can focus. And parents underestimate the importance of breakfast. And it ought not just to be sugar. It ought not just to be carbohydrates, pancakes alone, and syrup. It ought to be some protein, and encourage your children to have fruits as well.
Now, as a parent, and I'm sure you're a parent too, and you deal with a lot of kids, just being honest, when you go in the food store, there's more junk food. So what are some of the items, healthier items and nutritional snacks that we should be putting in our lunch bag for our kids for them to take to school?
So their fruit snacks, it starts at the beginning. So when we start to feed our young infants, many of us will give lots of sweet things.
Yeah.
And so your child becomes accustomed to and enjoys and looks forward to sweet things. So if you start very early introducing vegetables and fruits, it becomes a very natural thing. Then we have to model as parents good behavior. Children pay attention. You can't tell them to do something you're not doing. So if we eat fruits and vegetables regularly, that becomes a part of their daily regimen. So that's very important.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, you have such a wealth of knowledge. Doc, I really need you to just share how people can reach you.
Well, I'm available on Facebook. I have an office on Collins Avenue in Case Village.
Okay.
Easy to find me. I just enjoy what I do. Like I told you just before we off air, when you find something that you're passionate about, it's very natural, very easy.
I can see you're very passionate about what you're doing. And thank you for all the work that you have done over the years here in our community, here in the Bahamas as a whole, and the amount of kids that you have helped. It's a pleasure meeting you. It's a pleasure interviewing you here. Thank you so much. Any last words?
School is important. Get involved in your child's school. Get involved in their homework. Pay attention to what they're doing. Review every evening with your children. Get involved. Go to your PTA meetings and become an active participant in your child's development.
Perfect. Well said. Thank you, Doc. And thank you also for joining us. We'll be right back.
And I say, boy, my island's in the sun, 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 sun. Bring it up now. And I say, boy, my island's in the sun. Carnival time is here. That's when I turn to party. This broken, I got me wet. So, boy, my island's in the sun.
Fly free from Nassau. Visit BahamasResidence.com for details.
Hi, I'm Ria Christina, and I'm super excited to be the new host of You and Your Money, a local international bank that has actually been closing some of their branches. It actually gives me an opportunity to share my views, my take on the financial matters. Even when we think about what's happening globally, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of having to educate business owners as to the importance, the economic impact, and how it is that we can look at improving the Bahamian economy. $1 billion. That's how much we spend every year importing food in this country. It also gives me an opportunity to have conversations, and that's meaningful conversations with thought leaders within our community, even having to see how it is that we can work together, or even the opportunities that may exist for many Bahamians. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the great conversations that's to come.
One thing, two things, blue thing, all things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Well, it has been a fantastic Friday as usual here on Bahamas at Sunrise. We've had some excellent conversations, just learning about what's happening in the country, just in so many important fields. And I had a great time working along with my co-host today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you welcoming to the show, making it easy for me. I gotta tell Mark, you gotta take vacation more often.
There you go. So how was your first experience being on the other side of the interview chair?
It's different, but we had such great hosts today, so much information. I mean, the community initiative, and of course, I cannot leave out Dr. Thomas and his information about the medical care for kids, man. I was really excited for that. He surely delivered.
Yeah, definitely. So many important segments. We are looking forward to more to come this week, this coming Monday, so be sure to tune in. Otherwise, Shakespeare in Paradise is happening, so you definitely want to get out there over the weekend and figure out other exciting things that are happening and be back to join us on Monday.
Yeah. Thank you for having us, man.